Hi, I'm Brian Madison with DeerHunterFan.com TV. This week's show you're going to see my bow season so far as trying to get Dagger on the ground. Dagger is an 8-point that started getting trail cam pictures of in the Sinclairville Seed Company food plot in September. I think the end of August too. End of August and September. And then as bow season opened, was getting trail cam pictures of him in the Sinclairville Seed Company food plots as well. And we're going to jump in with some hunting from earlier on in the season a little bit, just to give you a little bit of a backstory. I had a method of where I was hunting around these food plots based on which one he was in at which time, and after seeing where he was entering the food plots from, made adjustments with trail cams back in the woods to try to pinpoint what trails he was using back in the woods. So early on in bow season, Dagger came out into the north food plot with shooting light still left, and I wasn't there. I actually wasn't even hunting that evening. I was at home that afternoon making one of these episodes for Monday, because that was on a Sunday afternoon. And he came out. The camera tripped to infrared, but there was still legal shooting. So I knew that I wanted to start hunting that north food plot a little more than what I had been. And as that started to commence and all that stuff went down with me missing the doe with Paige, that lead doe, that group of 5 doe, picked that stand out, and every time she would come back there, would circle around in the thorn apples where couldn't get a shot at her and blow that stand up. Here it is. I knew to come look here. There's usually a scrape here. It's usually a year-round community scrape. I used to do a lot of hunting back in here. I moved up the hill over the last couple of years to the Acorn Stand. Well, we're gonna get some of this going and a trail cam here, because I haven't been seeing much in the Acorn Stand. I'm gonna see if we need to be moving down here. Tuesday morning on the hillside by the scrape. I put the Antler Ice in. Just the doe this morning. It was raining. It stopped raining about first light. Got in here just to plan. And I'm really surprised I've only seen that one deer. In fact, I'm probably gonna look at the weather, wind direction stuff for this afternoon right now. Spend this last half an hour in the stand thinking about tonight, so I know if I'm leaving any of my stuff up in this tree or not. One upside, at least I stayed nice and dry, even with the rain. This Buck Shield Series camo is great. Keeps you dry, keeps you warm. A lot of days just keeping you dry goes a long ways of keeping you warm, but this coat can do them both. I've worn this coat in some pretty much every hunting condition you can think of, and it always works out. Just adjust your base layers a little bit if it's cold. There's even a removable inside liner vest that you can take out if you want to wear it on warmer days. I love this suit, man. And then one night she actually did come out to the field, and all 5 deer were out in the field, and I could hear more deer walking around the woods. And it was at this point I knew I wanted to try to fill another doe tag on this doe and get her out of there, because I couldn't hunt that food plot with this doe alive. So I wanted to shoot her, but at the same time I heard more deer back in the woods, and I was like, man, Dagger could be right there. I'm not shooting this doe. I just gotta hope that before they blow out of here, if he's there, he steps out to the edge of the field, and I'll get a 30 or 40 yard shot at him depending on which trail he comes out. And this doe just, I mean, she kept marching in and out, in and out. I had the camera pointed down the corner of the field hoping Dagger was going to emerge, and she just kept walking in and out, marching, pounding, stomping her feet, and then finally blew out of there. So once again I was right back to having to contemplate on if I should even hunt there. Even if Dagger does come out, the only way I'm getting shot at him is if those does aren't anywhere around, because if they are, that lead doe is going to blow that stand up again. So I started to concentrate more on the Acorn Stand where I killed Tank a few years ago, and the Hillside Stand, which is probably 150 yards from the Acorn Stand. And the way, depending on what the wind was doing each evening or morning, I would bounce between those two stands. And one night, the wind was not very good for the hillside where I wanted to be, but it was good for the Acorn Stand. So I was up the hill, and it was a quiet night. And I heard down over the hill a bunch of rustling. Could tell it was a buck making a scrape. And I checked the trail cam the next day, and Dagger was there with some other smaller bucks. So it was at that point I was like, well, I'm going to start hunting down there more, you know, especially in the mornings. He might come back through to work that scrape in the morning times too. And you know, early season, before bucks are rutting, they're not going to really run their scrape lines every day or more than once a day necessarily. So I wasn't concerned that I didn't have a morning time picture of him there, because if maybe once or twice a week, if he was going to walk through there, if I'm there, it doesn't matter if I got a picture of him or not. What would have been the first picture of him there in the daytime would have killed him. So that was the thought on that. And I hunted there and had real hard time seeing deer out of that stand. So I decided to move back up the trail, and I took that trail back about another 150 yards. So now we've gone from the Acorn Stand to the hillside, and another 150 yards. And I was going to call this spot the Ambush Stand. And I found a spot where a small, we can call it a ravine, a very small ravine with a creek, a trail split and goes up each ridge. And there were some rubs on the ridge I was sitting on. Going there to hunt it, after setting that stand, there's a rub on the other ridge. So something that night made a rub on that ridge, and I had a pretty good feeling about this. I mean, I'm doing this to try to get on Dagger during daylight, because everything where I'd been hunting, he was there at nighttime. Tuesday afternoon, just past 2 o'clock. Gonna get ready to head up into the woods, go in my climber, and what I'm calling the Ambush Stand. That tree there with my climber is 100 yards or so up the trail from where the scrape is, where Dagger was caught on camera last at 7 p.m. So idea is to move a little further up the trail. I'm actually in a spot where it splits. I sat there Sunday night, had a little 4-point come through, and that was it. It was raining. Today it rained this morning, sprinkled a little bit ago. The pressure is high. It's over 30, and this evening's hunt could really turn into something. I got a feeling that deer are going to be on their feet this afternoon, so that's why I want to hurry up here and get in the stand nice and early, and hopefully with any luck we can finally lay eyes on a shooter this season. After setting the ambush stand, I think I'd hunted it twice, and the wind was bad for it on one particular evening. So I moved to the ground blind for the first set in the ground blind of the season. Was going to try to shoot a doe if I got the chance, and I was hoping to see the target doe, I was calling her, that lead doe, that group of 5 doe. And I was been in the ground blind for maybe 20 minutes, and I look up the field, and there's a buck running across the field. Alright, snuck out of the blind finally. I waited till it was dark. Those doe came in, and like I said before, the hunt, I was going to try to shoot doe tonight, but after seeing that big buck go across the hillside, all I could keep thinking was, man, this guy's going to step out behind these does. They worked their way into about 40 yards, and I was just praying, like, come on, come across this field and cross the field and follow these doe. And I was going to take a shot, but he never showed, didn't work out. But I'm not sure why he was running across the hill. I mean, you always like to think that you had nothing to do with it, but I don't know if maybe he was bedded in the goldenrod and heard me getting into the blind, and it took him 10-15 minutes to decide he was antsy and then scoot out of there. Or if he just came from all the way across the hill. I couldn't see where he came from, if something spooked him over there. Or for all I know, he tried to spar with another buck and got his butt kicked over by the hedgerow stand. So, I don't know, it'll be interesting to check some trail cams. I meant to grab the one right by the blind there tonight, and I forgot. I just wanted to sneak out of there, crawl out of there. So, fun hunt though. And it was so nice to see a shooter, even though we never even were really in the game on them. Getting those does to come out, sitting there, felt like we were in the game for a little bit, and that's what we got to keep doing, just getting ourselves in positions where we're in the game. So after getting home and putting it on the screen, it was Dagger. And the Target Doe did come out that night. She didn't get closer than 50 yards. I didn't take a shot at her. Sat in the ground blind one more night, saw a little buck chasing, and chased right up into the north food plot. That north food plot's in a great spot. I mean, that's where I wanted to be hunting to get a shot at Dagger. I had a feeling that it was just a matter of time before he was in there, probably in the evening time or first light, coming off the fields and working a scrape around the edge of that field. I really felt like I could get a chance at him there. When the wind wasn't good for the ambush stand, I was wanted to hunt there. So one morning I had this plan that I was going to take the buck decoy, unihorn. I have both horns. One of the antlers broke years back, and I've watched a lot of the stuff on TV and YouTube and stuff, and the one antlered approach is one that a lot of guys take, is a less dominant buck, that a buck's going to come over and want to challenge it maybe even more. So, and also my experience in the past with decoys and does is those stay away from them. That's the experience I've had. I've had one doe come into a decoy ever, and the other time they've left. So my thought was, well, if the group of doe come out and see that decoy, maybe she'll forget about the stand for 2 seconds and just turn around and leave, not want anything to do with the buck standing out there. So it got to be about 9 o'clock. I look over and I see the deer coming, and it's a group of 5, and it's the lead doe that I'm seeing circling through the thorn apples again. coming. It's so thick over there, a deer could be 10 yards away. I can't even shoot at him. But I got stood up, and there was one shooting lane. I was like, if she gets there, I'm going to shoot this doe and this stuff so I can start hunting this stand, not worry about being busted by this doe that busts that stand every time she comes to the field. I even had trail cams at night of that group of 5 entering the field and then running out of the field and leaving, like multiple days, so that they're just wound up. She's got that group of doe so wound up. What happened was, I'm pretty sure she saw a decoy, and she stopped, slammed on those brakes, started stomping, and blew and ran out of there. So, right back to, I don't want to, you know, I can't hunt that north food plot with that doe alive. Now going into the evening hunt, the wind was going to be perfect for the ambush stand, and the pressure was up over 30 again, and that's what I was trying to do every day I went in there. The wind, make sure the wind was perfect, and the weather was good for deer movement.
Antler Ice. It's got our back for the wind going that direction. Deer shouldn't come from that way. But it is possible if they pass us on one of the lower trails, they'll walk up there, so let's see. Alright. Saturday afternoon. Got Josh's doe and went home, had lunch. May have taken a short nap. Woke up and next thing I knew, it was 2 o'clock, so hurried up, got ready, and got out here. It's 14 after 3 right now, and I'm set. So that's not bad, that's good. I wanted to be set by 3, so that ain't bad. I'm hoping tonight's a good night, man. It sure feels like it has the makings to be. Back in here in the ambush stand again, and a lot more leaves have fallen off since the last time I was in here. A lot. I can actually almost see the hillside stand where the scrapes are. I can almost see all the way down there now. It's rained a ton in the last few days, and now this little stream next to me actually has quite a bit of water in it, and it's running, so I don't know, I probably won't hear much walking, but at the same time that gives me a little bit of cover noise too for moving the camera and drawing my bow and stuff, so. Oh my God. I smoked him, guys. It's Dagger. Yes, yes, yes. 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 Oh God. I don't think I've been this excited to shoot a deer with my bow in a very, very, very long time. I'm so happy right now. I'm freaking crying. I'm so happy. Yes. I gotta call JJ. I'm calling JJ. Baby.
You get one.
Dagger down, baby. Dagger down.
Dagger, huh?
I'm pretty sure it's Dagger. He came through with that big group of does. I've been trying to kill that lead doe that busts me every night. And I see something up way back in the woods and they all take off sprinting. He came by 35 yards. Smoke City. Dude, after I shot him, I was so freaking pumped. I like instantly like almost started to cry.
Still got it.
I still got it, buddy. So excited. Just texted my dad. BBD. I want to watch the footage real quick. I'm calling Paige. Now I'm getting shakes. Is Paige with you?
Yeah.
Can she hear me?
Yeah.
Paige, guess what?
What?
I just shot a big 8-point.
Oh my God, no way.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Do you want me to bring the kids out?
Yeah, yes. And then, I don't know, could you and Bennett just want to wait at the house while we looked for it?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Or maybe you could take Bennett with you. He'd probably love it.
We'll see, but it's really cold out. Now I'm getting an adrenaline rush and I'm starting to shake.
Okay, well, congratulations. I will get the kids dressed up warm.
Okay, and I got Paige's really warm hunting clothes here, but so she just needs good stuff to wear underneath.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, see you in a bit. Bye.
Bye.
Oh my gosh. Alright, here's my tree right here. He was right over here by this big old dead oak tree when I shot him. So we're gonna cross this ravine, this little creek, head up there and get the arrow. That's a super good sign. How thick that blood wants to clot right on the arrow. So that is very. See the blood, Paige?
He ain't far.
See how it clot? How it's like slimy and gooey?
Yeah.
That means it's a very good shot.
Good job, then. You aimed at the right place.
Okay. So we're, I don't know, about 30 yards from where we shot him, and now he started bleeding here. 5-lung shot. Okay, just follow the flow. I didn't see him fall though either, but it's really thick over here. Alright, here you go, Paige.
Well, Brian, I can see his tracks
Yeah, I
because
was gonna say, why don't you try to shine your light on the blood? So
he's really laboring here. See his tracks. He's just laboring to walk or to run.
Here, yeah.
He's dragging down here. I mean,
Right there.
see right there, he fell or
Leaves,
something.
Paige? See how the leaves are picked up? So he's starting to drag his feet. Look at that, there's blood both sides of the tree, and he obviously didn't go up it.
Yeah.
I think he went this side, and it just shot me over there.
Well, you can see where he's running the leaves.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having a hard time.
Oh, Daddy, look.
There's his eye right there.
Where? See his eyeball? Come here, come stand where I'm standing. See his white belly in his eye? He's dead.
Where?
Do you see his eye glowing?
Buck.
Come on, fuck me.
Yeah. Alright. Well, you stand right here so I can kick him in the butt, right? Make sure you don't run off on us. Oh, yeah, that's a nice deer. Okay, come here, honey. Let's set this right here. Don't step on the bow yet. Yeah, Paige. Look at him. I'm gonna touch his rack. Look at that. There's his dagger. Dagger point. Alright, we'll get him out here in the open a little more and do an interview. Look at that shot. What do you think, Paige?
He's big and he's awesome.
I'm thinking if we get him right over here by this, I'll get him right over here by this log, Dad. Or you? Okay, well here he is. We found him. This is Dagger. A great buck. I'm extremely happy with him. And the buck that we were going after. I put the stand back in here and I named it the ambush stand because I know it was a spot that I'd be more likely to kill him than the two spots I was hunting him where I thought I might get a shot at him. And that was the hillside and the north food plot. And especially the hillside with him hitting that scrape, but he was always doing it 7 p.m. or later. So I knew I had to move, and I got my climber back in to the ambush stand. And the reason I called it that was I've only hunted it 3 times. It's been there for almost a week now. And I only hunted it when the wind was perfect and when the pressure was over 30 to increase odds of seeing deer out of it. And I don't know, in the video, if you notice, I shot him right next to the rub that when I dropped my stand off there the first time, there wasn't a rub there, and when we came back in the next day, the rub was right there, and that's right where I shot him. He was standing right there. He pushed those does down that ridge, and it worked perfect. I was there because two trails split each side of the tree, one up each ridge, and that's why I was sitting there. And he came down it, and I'm extremely, extremely happy. And I don't think I've shot many bucks that I just sat back and said that's the only deer I'm going to shoot. And that's I think that's why I was so excited when I did shoot him, because it all came together. And we've been hunting pretty hard for early season, hunting in the rain and hunting in the hot temperatures, because you know, I just didn't want to waste an opportunity. We hunted smart though. We didn't overhunt anywhere. And I don't even know if I really even believe in overhunting a spot, as long as you're hunting it right. If you're getting in and out right and the wind's right when you do it, I don't think you're overhunting it. I think you're increasing your odds of shooting a good buck. But Paige, what did you think of the buck?
I don't know, he's huge.
We're gonna have to go show him the Bennett. Bennett's at the house waiting. But
the whole way here he was telling Mommy, "Oh, I'm so excited to see it."
yeah.
But then he passed out.
Paige, this was her first time tracking a buck, and first time tracking, nope, second time tracking at night.
Yeah.
But it wasn't, I mean, it was a good blood trail once you were on it, but just like any other high lung shot, you know, it took like 50 yards for it to get going, but once it was going, he wasn't going anywhere. So we're gonna get the gator back in here and get him back to the house. Pulling in. Gonna show Jake and Mike Dagger. No, Dagger! Dagger down! Look at, there's the dagger right there.
They're like, hey, baby, you got something going on yet,
he was
or?
corralling them.
Oh, okay.
So they'd all bunch up, and then he'd come in, bust them all up. Dude, they all came in, bunched up right there, 35 yards.
White stripes on his back?
Yeah, he's got a piebald chest. Look at him. He's got a piebald brisket. So I moved it back.
Mm-hmm. Dagger's down.
And that was it. That was Dagger. Extremely happy and proud of this buck. Another deer that you know, you bow hunt and you get into these situations where you're trying to get a nice buck, or you have a specific buck, and a lot of times there's a couple different bucks. You're like, those are good deer, I'd shoot any one of those deer. Well, this year Dagger was all I had on trail cam past the first week of bow season, because the only other deer I was really looking at got shot by the neighbors. So I knew that, geez, you know, I'm hunting Dagger. This is it. I gotta figure out this deer and try to get on him and kill him. And that's, you know, between the Clearville Seed Company food plots and pounding those scrapes with antler ice to make him on edge and think that maybe another bigger deer's in the area, because I'm sure he knew that he had that hillside to himself pretty much. So that was the thought of working on those scrapes with the antler ice, was try to get him thinking another buck was coming in the area and get him on his feet going to these scrapes more. And if he's doing that, my odds of seeing him during daylight go way up. And then with seeing the younger deer chasing, the younger bucks starting to chase, I knew that, you know, there was a chance that any day could be the day that he would be on his feet during daylight. Now the big kicker of all this is the Target Doe was the doe that brought him right to my tree stand, and I shot him. The doe that I've been trying to shoot since the second, or like the end of the first week of bow season, is the doe that brought Dagger right to my tree. So the deer that had been ruining hunt after hunt for me is the deer that made the best hunt of all. It's crazy to stop and think about it, because even just that morning I tried to shoot her. If I did shoot her, or even maybe shoot at her, something she did would have changed. That group of does would have been somewhere else than where they were, and Dagger would not have come down that ridge after those doe. Maybe Dagger would have worked down the ridge, going to work a scrape or a rub by himself. Maybe. Yo!
Man! How it feel?
Feels real good, buddy. Well, you don't know. That's the beautiful thing about hunting, is there's so many things you don't have control over. But there's a lot of things you do have control over. And the mix of the two that have to come together for you to get a deer is part of the addiction of it, I think. And yeah, I was extremely blessed and happy and grateful to get a shot at Dagger and to make it count, make a great shot on Dagger. So I'm probably gonna go try to kill the Target Doe now, so I can hunt that food plot stand during gun season. I'm Brian Madison with DeerHunterFan TV. I'll see you next time.